Happy Sabbath, Happy Sabbath, everyone. And peace of the Lord be with you. Chapter 8 of Exodus. This chapter is all about the plagues. And they just keep on coming, one after the next. So let's get started. Chapter 8. And the Lord spoke unto Moses, Go unto Pharaoh, and say unto him, Thus saith the Lord, Let my people go, that they may serve me. And if thou refuse to let them go, behold, I will smite all thy borders with frogs. Doesn't seem like much, but when you hear how many frogs, and it's just ridiculous. And the river shall bring forth frogs abundantly. Like, I mean, there's going to be a lot of frogs, which shall go up and come into thy house, and into thy bedchamber, and unto thy bed, and into the house of thy servants, and upon thy people, and into thine ovens, and into thy kneading troughs. And the frogs shall come up both on thee, and upon thy people, and upon all thy servants. Just a ridiculous amount of frogs, in other words. And the Lord spake unto Moses, Say unto Aaron, Stretch forth thine hand with thy rod over the streams, over the rivers, and over the ponds, and cause frogs to come up upon the land of Egypt. And Aaron stretched out his hand over the waters of Egypt, and the frogs came up and covered the land of Egypt. And the magicians did so with their enchantments, and brought up frogs upon the land of Egypt. And I get the sense that so long the magicians of the Pharaoh were able to duplicate what Moses and Aaron were doing, and then the Pharaoh thought nothing of it. But it won't be long that the magicians will not be able to duplicate what Moses and Aaron were doing, or what God was doing through Moses and Aaron. Verse 8, Then Pharaoh called for Moses and Aaron and said, Entreat the Lord that ye may take away the frogs from me and from my people, and I will let the people go, that they may do sacrifice unto the Lord. And Moses said unto Pharaoh, Glory over me. In other words, command me. When shall I entreat for thee and for thy servants and for thy people to destroy the frogs from thee and thy house, that they may remain in the river only? And he said, Tomorrow. And he said, Be it according to thy word, that thou mayest know that there is none like unto the Lord our God. And the frogs shall depart from thee, and from thy houses, and from thy servants, and from thy people. They shall remain in the river only. And Moses and Aaron went out from Pharaoh, and Moses cried unto the Lord because of the frogs which he had brought against Pharaoh. And the Lord did according to the word of Moses. And the frogs died out of the houses, out of the villages, and out of the fields. And they gathered them together. So it's not like the frogs went back into the river. They just died, but there was dead frogs everywhere. This must have been disgusting. Verse 14, And they gathered them together upon heaps, and the land stank. But when Pharaoh saw that there was respite, in other words, there was, okay, finally these frogs are away. That's essentially what respite is. He hardened his heart, and hearkened not unto them, as the Lord had said. Water break. Because I keep forgetting to bring water when I do these videos. Then I get all parts and it don't sound right. Verse 16, And the Lord said unto Moses, Say unto Aaron, Stretch out thy rod, and smite the dust of the land, that it may become lice throughout all the land of Egypt. And they did so, for Aaron stretched out his hand with his rod, and smote the dust of the earth, and they became lice in man and in beast. All the dust of the land became lice throughout all the land of Egypt. Oof. And the magicians did so with their enchantments to bring forth lice, but they could not. So up until this point, they were able to duplicate the blood, and they were able to duplicate the frogs, and they put their rods down, and they were able to duplicate the snake. But from this point forward, they could no longer duplicate the signs and wonders as God was bringing upon the land of Egypt. Here we go. And throughout all the way, and the magicians did so with their enchantment to bring forth lice, but they could not. So there were lice upon man and upon beast. Then the magician said unto Pharaoh, This is the finger of God. And Pharaoh's heart was hardened, and he hearkened not unto them, as the Lord had said. And the Lord said unto Moses, Rise up early in the morning, and stand before Pharaoh. Lo, he cometh forth to the water. And say unto him, Thus saith the Lord, Let my people go, that they may serve me. Let my people go. Else, if thou wilt not let my people go, behold, I will send swarms of flies upon thee, and upon thy servants, and upon thy people, and into thy houses, and the houses of the Egyptians shall be full of swarms of flies. Ugh, it's gross. And also the ground there whereon they are. And I will sever in that day the land of Goshen. In other words, I will divide the land of Goshen from the land of Egypt. In what way? He's about to say it right now. And I will sever in that day the land of Goshen, in which my people dwell, that no swarms of flies shall be there, to the end thou mayest know that I am the Lord in the midst of the earth. Now you're going to see how there will be no flies in the land of Goshen, where the children of Israel moved into when Joseph brought his father and all his brothers and all their family, and he moved them into the land of Goshen, which was the richest pastures of the whole land of Egypt. And if you actually look at a map, the land of Goshen is essentially where the delta of the Nile River is, very rich in vegetation, and that's why as the shepherds, that was the ideal land for them. Where are we? You may serve me, else if thou wilt not let my people go, behold, I will send the servants upon the people into the houses. Okay, and I will sever the. Okay, here it is, verse 22. And I will sever in that day the land of Goshen, in which my people dwell, that no swarm of flies shall be there, to the end that thou mayest know that I am the Lord in the midst of the earth. Verse 23. And I will put a division between my people and thy people. Tomorrow shall this sign be. And the Lord did so, and there came a grievous swarm of flies into the house of Pharaoh, and into his servant's house, and into all the land of Egypt. And the land was corrupted by reason of the swarm of flies. But do you have any idea how disgusting flies are? Every time they land on something, they vomit. Ugh. You'll have to forgive me, but I'm going to explain this. They're going to vomit, and then they re-eat what they just vomited, and they leave residue wherever they land. Ugh, it's disgusting, but that's what these flies were doing, and there was tons of them everywhere but the land of Goshen. And Pharaoh called for Moses and Aaron and said, Go ye, sacrifice to your God in the land. And Moses said, It is not meet to do so to do, for we shall sacrifice the abomination of the Egyptians to the Lord our God. So, see, Pharaoh had commanded Moses, go sacrifice in the land. Just get these flies out of here. And Moses said, we're not going to sacrifice within your land because it's an abomination to our God. I'm guessing because they were an idolatrous nation. They believed in idolatry, and they believed in false gods, and they worshipped everything under the sun, literally. Verse 26, and Moses said, It is not meet so to do, for we shall sacrifice the abomination of the Egyptians to the Lord our God. Lo, shall we sacrifice the abomination of the Egyptians before their eyes, and will they not stone us? We will go 3 days' journey into the wilderness and sacrifice to the Lord our God, and he shall command us. And Pharaoh said, I will let you go, that ye may sacrifice to the Lord your God in the wilderness. Only ye shall not go very far away. Entreat for me. And Moses said, Behold, I go out from thee, and I will entreat the Lord that the swarms of flies may depart from Pharaoh. from his servants, from his people, and from his people tomorrow. But let not Pharaoh deal deceitfully any more in not letting the people go to sacrifice to the Lord. Well, guess what Pharaoh's going to do? He's going to lie. Of course, that's what he's been doing all along. And Moses went out from Pharaoh and entreated the Lord. And the Lord did according to the word of Moses. And he removed the swarms of flies from Pharaoh and from his servants and from his people. There remained not one. All the flies were gone. And Pharaoh hardened his heart at this time also. Neither would he let the people go. But you see, God knew all along that this was coming. But this is why every sign and wonder is like one after the next. They get worse and worse and worse and worse. Now we're just at the flies, but you're about to see what's coming down the pipe for the Egyptians. And anyway, that concludes chapter 8. As always, feel free to make any comments, suggestions, whatever it is you feel compelled to write or not write. Just keep it polite and clean, though. In the comment section below, don't forget to subscribe, and it will greatly help me, so that and I will continue to make content such as this, and will continue to read chapter by chapter, make a video at a time, until this book is complete. That is my objective. As always, peace of the Lord be with you, brothers and sisters, and I will see you next time. Peace.